I was excited. After weeks of chatting and playful flirting on a dating app, I finally had a real-life date with Tom. We had hit it off. The conversation was easy, light, and full of little moments that made me smile. Honestly, I hadn't felt this kind of anticipation in a while. He picked a cozy cafe downtown. The weather was mild, the sky a soft gray, one of those days that don't seem particularly special, but could turn out perfect if you're meeting the right person. I arrived 10 minutes early, typical me. I sat outside, watching people walk by, my heart beating just a little faster. Then I saw him. Tall, smiling, confident, the kind of guy who radiated calm energy. "Hey. Great to finally meet you," he said, pulling me in for a friendly hug. It was warm. Natural. Like we already knew each other. We grabbed coffee, laughed about something silly right away, and for a while, it felt good. We talked about hobbies, music, random everyday stories. I felt comfortable. Maybe even hopeful. And then, he brought up his ex. It started casually, almost harmless. He was telling a story about a trip to Portugal and said, "My ex had such good taste in hotels. I've rarely met someone so organized." I gave a polite smile. Okay, I thought. Exes exist. It happens. No big deal. But then he kept going. He talked about how she loved hiking, how creative she was, how she started her own Etsy shop and was crazy ambitious. Suddenly, I was just sitting there, cappuccino in hand, feeling small. Dull. Like a shadow of someone else. I tried changing the subject. I asked if he liked animals. He chuckled. "Oh yeah, totally. My ex used to volunteer at an animal shelter. I'd help out sometimes. She had such a huge heart." I went quiet. Inside, I was screaming, does he not hear himself? It was like I wasn't even on the date anymore. I was just the audience to the emotional highlight reel of a woman he clearly wasn't over. Eventually, I couldn't take it. I looked at him and asked, quietly, "Do you think about her a lot?" He seemed caught off guard. Then he shrugged and said, "Well, yeah. She was a big part of my life." I nodded. And said nothing. What was there to say? That night, I went home with a knot in my stomach. It wasn't jealousy. I didn't even know her. It was more this awful, sinking feeling that I was being compared, and that I wasn't measuring up. I walked into my kitchen, made myself some tea, and sat in silence for a while, just thinking. How often do people go on dates while still clinging to their past? Tom wasn't a bad guy. I don't think he even realized how often he brought her up. But that didn't make it easier. I was there. I showed up. I opened myself up, gave my time, my attention. And he wasn't really there at all. Emotionally, he was still with someone else. And that was that. No drama. No heartbreak. Just a quiet realization. I'd been on dates before where I left wondering if I was too sensitive, overreacting, expecting too much. But this time, I knew I wasn't. I was just aware. And I deserved someone who wasn't living in the rearview mirror. Postscript, a few weeks later. Some of my friends said I was being too harsh. That it's normal to mention exes. And yeah, I get it, to a degree. But it wasn't just that he brought her up. It was the way he spoke about her. The admiration. The almost wistful tone. I was sitting right there, and yet somehow, I wasn't really seen. And honestly, I don't regret walking away. We need to listen to those quiet signals more often. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. I showed up. He didn't. That's all I needed to know. And I'm moving forward.